Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is the Total Madness episode 1 recap. Mad World. This was watched by 1 million people. I mean, it's very rare nowadays for the challenge to crack 1 million, but they did it. I mean, they didn't even do this once last season, War of the Worlds 2. They did it twice in War of the Worlds 1, the season right before that. So good for them, but it's also like a good indication that a lot of people are at home doing nothing but watching TV, and there's no sports available, so all you get is this. And remember when, what's his name, BS guy, Bill Simmons was like, this is the fifth sport or whatever, this is the only quote-unquote sport right now, right? I mean, what else is there? They couldn't... I was thinking, like, billiards. Remember billiards was kind of hot for a second, pool? They probably couldn't even do that either, right? I don't know. This is crazy. But again, this isn't in real time. This was recorded a while ago, and just like how we might feel like we're in a bomb shelter. That's where the casts find themselves in, and it's crazy. It's the opening we'll get into real quick. It's just fucking, it's very eerie and shit, and it's so bizarre because they're in a helicopter, and they're all clearly told by the director, by the producers. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever said director once. I think they're just producers, but either way, someone definitely directed the cast to be solemn and to be very serious, which is so bizarre, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense because they want to establish a tone and whatnot, but, they're all very, no one's excited. No one's cracking a smile. And then TJ opens the door, who also is very serious and solemn, and they're all like, yeah, they cheer. And then TJ doesn't react, and it's almost like the producers like smack themselves on the forehead, like, God damn it, they showed emotion. No, you guys have to be like, fucking robots. So they're again put into line, and they go from a helicopter into a big bus, which then carries them into out of the safety zone, which is interesting because eventually they get to the bomb shelter, but to get there they have to walk on foot through this gray like fucking nuclear winter like forest, which is very effective, like I said. So they eventually get to that place, and no, what am I thinking? No, they didn't go to the bunker immediately. They go to the mission, which is great. I fucking love it. I like this new trend where it starts off with a mission, because usually it's like they show up, they go in the house, and they're drinking and they're talking shit, and and if you're watching this show for the very first time, you're like, what? Oh, okay, so this is just like The Real World or Jersey Shore or any other show that you could think of where people just go and drink and hang out and shit. But no, this way, by putting the action up front, man, it's really, I love it so much more. It definitely helps me tune in. And this one's called Battle Lines, and I'm gonna try and just cut through this thing as soon as I can, because I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm all by myself, much like everyone else, self-quarantining. So, and then also, I don't like recording by myself. To me, like, it's not a podcast. If you're talking by yourself, that's radio, and I have no interest in radio at all. So I always have to bring this up every single time I record alone, because I cannot stress it enough how much I dislike recording alone. And it makes me do exactly this. I cut the grizzle off these episodes, and I just go for the fucking bone. All right, so mission, Battle Lines. Rogan and Jenny win their respected heats, but I will say that CT and Fessy came second and third. I don't know which order necessarily. And then, I mean, with the male heat, and then with the female heat, it was Dee and Tori. I think Dee was second and Tori was third. Tori just couldn't crack that math equation, and I'm so proud of Dee. Like Dee has slowly became, well, not slowly. I don't know. I don't even know why I said that. She immediately shown a lot of greatness to me when she was on War of the Worlds 1. And then War of the Worlds 2, you just got to see more of her personality, which unfortunately was like love struck to like that dumbass Rogan, you know? So, but with all that, again, that shouldn't matter. And that's why I like that it started off with a mission, because now you know that Dee is a fucking badass, man. She got really goddamn close. But Jenny, I mean, she was an absolute machine last season. And I'm glad that she got the win. Rogan, oh my God, like again, I'm like, you know, good for him. This is great for him. I just don't know how to feel about him. You know, I just feel like he's there whether I like him or not. You know, he's just gonna be there. So after that, they have to. Well, okay, I guess describe it real quick. You know, lots of barrels, lots of ropes, lots of pulling. There's some math in there. Lots of vehicles. Let me just say that because what is it? They showed up in a helicopter. They got into a bus. They and then TJ's in this tank, and he's just like crushing the barrels and stuff. Which is, I mean, I come at it as a producer. I put on my producer's hat, and the first thing I would say is like, "Hey, what about the cost? I mean, why are we blowing all these loads of cash on these fucking superfluous machines? You know, just because TJ wants to be on a fucking jet ski for 20 seconds? Like, no. Like, I would cut that shit. But the tanks, that's fine. I think it works in this particular segment. Let's get on to the bomb shelter where they arrive and what I have to say about that. What exactly happens? I think this is an order, but ascending into importance. Maybe let's see. Nany, Jenna, and Kayla form an alliance. Jenna and Kayla are always working together, but Nany is willing to work, and that is actually a big improvement because comparatively, typically, Nany is terrible in the political game. Absolutely terrible. So she's trying, I guess. More Nany news. She bangs Asaph. ASAP. Or was it Asaph? I think it was Asaph, yeah. But there was nothing soft about him. Not when Nany came around. But you know what? Fucking Nany. I mean, I can't hate her on her for this, but I think she might. Is she? Does she hold the record of like just fucking getting laid like all the fucking time? I mean, there's like Corey. You could put him up there. Um, yeah. Who else is there? Like, I'm trying to think. Nothing's coming up. Maybe Bananas, but it was always secretive and shit. But then I think he was surpassed for sure. Um, Anissa? No. Wait. Maybe that's a thing. Yeah, I should make a list. Like people have gotten laid the most on the challenge. They wear that shit like a badge of honor. Okay, what else? Oh, CT. Okay, this is great. CT tells Kyle to stop being everyone's friend, basically. Or he's like, hey, stop being a douchebag. Like, all you gotta do is just, like, start being honest, you know? If you keep on riding the fence, eventually someone just, you know, assigns you a side. And this is a continuation of the relationship that I just absolutely like with CT and Kyle. Like, Kyle looks up to CT, a little scared of him or whatever, and CT kind of looks not down to him, but like kind of treats him as like a, I don't know. I like the relationship. It's like Kyle wants something from CT. CT acknowledges Kyle, but he's also like, dude, you're not doing it right. Like I remember last season he was like, you're a piece of shit, basically. I'm paraphrasing here, but just to get it out of the way, it's like, dude, no one trusts you. And Kyle's like with that fake ass smile on him. He's like, what are you talking about, man? But no, CT has Kyle figured out, but he's also trying to help him by saying like, dude, just stop, just pick a side, and things are gonna run a lot smoother for you. If CT didn't care about Kyle, he never would say this shit to Kyle. You know what I mean? It's yeah, there you go. And then finally, the biggest news when it came to the house or the bomb shelter, whatever you want to call it, is fucking the Wes and Bananas deadly alliance, man. We're talking Mortal Kombat. Who was it? Like Shang Tsung worked with Quan Chi. I mean, I don't know who is who in this situation, but that was a great game. And is it real? That was the first thing I asked. I was like, fuck. I mean, they could totally betray each other to finally have the not the last laugh at all, because they're gonna. God damn it! I don't know. It is extremely smart to combine forces. It is, and I think Wes was like, if this works, it's gonna be entirely unfair. And Bananas is like, welcome. We're team. Everyone's fucked. It really could work. And it's so weird because in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, no, I like it when they don't like each other. But this is very smart. If it's real, if it's true, and honestly, either one could betray each other's trust. I'm not going to say like, oh, clearly it's going to be Bananas first. No, they're so similar. Not entirely. I mean, I personally think Bananas is way more sinister than Wes is, and cold hearted. I mean, come on, you fucking stole shit from Sarah and the island, and there's so much shit. All right, the Adderall, the headlock on Charon free agents. There's so much shit. All right. But Wes likes to be as sleazy, but just not. He hasn't done those terrible like sell your soul for money sort of things, really. But anyways, if this is real, cool. But going back to like this previous podcast that I did, it was called Production Hell, and my idea was to have a season where it was called Coaches, Team Wes versus Team Bananas, where like it would be Wes as a coach of his own team the whole season. Like Wes never actually gets eliminated, or Bananas either. You know what I mean? Like they just run the team, and then they go head to head in the final. They run that final with that team and shit. And I was like, oh, that's the best thing to fucking do, because producers they've had 3 times to put Bananas and Wes together, and all 3 times they were like, no, actually they work so much better going against each other, which is, I mean, it's very watchable, right? But if they really do put all this shit aside, man, holy shit. I mean, that was the great thing, I think the best thing to come out of this episode was this and the elimination twist, which we'll get into it. So I mean, wait, hold on. So we got to get into the nominations, the mob vote, all the losers. They, how does it start off? I think Bananas like, I think a player should establish the, open the argument. So CT, take it away. And CT, as always, and especially what he did in War of the Worlds 2 was take that lead in throwing out those votes that really, gathered up some traction. And I think he said J. Yeah, he said J. But then other people were like, oh, it's a soft, man. And it was going back and forth, but eventually it was a soft. since he had the last vote and he was going in anyways, he just like threw a burnout vote on Wes, and that. I like this part because Wes was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I am actually like, what did he say? Eventually, he was like yelling. He's like, "Too little, too much, too little. It's never enough. It's not good enough for you guys and shit like that." He's freaking out. Although he never says that line on the trailer that was like, "I'm freaking out on day one" and shit like that. He never says that, which is weird. Don't you hate it when fucking trailers do that? I mean, I believe a woman tried to sue a movie once because a lot of the stuff in the trailer wasn't in the movie itself. She was like, "Hey, man, I fucking paid a movie ticket to watch whatever say these particular lines and shit." So, um, yeah, okay, but that was fun, and the interesting twist about that was like Asaf this whole time was like the super nice guy, like super just like, oh my god, I love everyone. But then it was also, I mean, he hooks up with Nani, but it was a weird like, aren't these places so phony sort of situation? He's like, they're trying too hard, so I'm just gonna hang out here with my chiseled abs and long ass hair and just kind of get with Nani and stuff. But he was also very, yeah, super nice and stuff. He had some good vibes on him and shit. And the fact that he called out Wes is like, "I think you are a snake" or something like that. When Wes is actually like trying to like play it low key this time and stuff, it was just very entertaining. I think Wes was like, "Oh, you're a follower," and then Asaf was like, "I'm a waiter" and shit. It was a nice little back and forth. The only thing that sucks, obviously, is that Asaf gets eliminated later. So that whatever little rivalry that was didn't really pay off too much. I mean, nah. I guess it could have. I guess people could have been like, "Oh my God, Wes is nominated now. He's gonna go against Asaf." Okay, so eventually they vote Jay. Everybody votes Jay. Or no, Asaf. What the fuck? Oh no, I'm skipping shit. Okay, so after that, we get to the tribunal part, where they vote in Jay, Kyle, and Wes. Wes, I don't remember why they said necessarily, but I know that they were like, well, Kyle, he's always a. Why did they say it? I don't remember actually. I just remember what those three said when they have to go before the tribunal and plead their cases. Jay fucking broke this shit down. He's like, "Listen, I don't get it why we always put in the rookies. Why don't we put in someone strong? And if a rookie has to go in, why don't you put someone of more importance against that person?" Kyle, you never know what the fuck he's gonna do. Nobody trusts him. He just breaks everything down, and that's really what Jay is all about. He's very like matter of fact and really interesting to me. I like him. He's a good addition. And then Kyle, what the fuck happens here? But it's weird because like Rogan is like, "Hey, if I don't send you in, you gotta promise me, bro." They don't talk like that. They're both British, but you gotta promise me, Squire. Did they say Squire? Governor. Hello, Governor. But they make this fucking treaty of sorts, and it's even brought up later in elimination, like out loud and shit. And if I was Corey or Jenny, I would be like, "Hey, man, what about don't? Hey, Kyle, don't vote us in too. Why, Rogan? You're literally cutting a deal in front of us and not including us. Like what the shit, man." Okay, so and then Wes, he goes the. I think he just basically says, "I'm a changed man. I'm not like this anymore." And that's about it. Okay, so let's get into elimination called airstrike, which is very misleading because there's nothing. There's really. They're on the opposite sides of a panel, plexiglass or whatever you want to call it, and they're holding on. Best two out of three, I think. Um, but yeah, they're holding on, and Asaf is a dancer. He's very well in shape. But Jay, immediately, as soon as I heard this, they were like, Jay's a fucking rock climber. I'm like, okay, it's done. It's fucking done because the rock climbers, all they do is hold on to shit, man. Like that's all. And like the very first American Ninja Warrior champion was a fucking rock climber, and he called that shit like years before he won it. He's like, the first guy to win this isn't going to be a goddamn free parkour guy, whatever they call it. It's going to be a rock climber because it's all about the grip and shit and the arm strength. And sure enough, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh man, Asaf, you're fucking, you're out of here, dude. I'm sorry. And yeah, again, Jay with the smarts, he was like, I'm just actually going to just hang on to this, hang loose, and just let Asaf tire him out, you know? And Asaf, he was like kicking it and wailing on it and shit, and eventually he gets tired and he falls, you know? Um, and he was also like holding it, like he was like holding himself, his upper body up, or like he was, yeah, he was the opposite of just like hanging long armed like Jay, you know? Asaf was very tense. He was very hard, okay? I think I already made that joke. Fucking cut that shit. Um, but in the second round, was they were just like, okay, we're both just gonna hang here, and whoever fucking could outlast the other, there you go. But Jay was like, fucking dude, that's all I do is hang off shit. You ever watch the opening of Mission Impossible 2? I'm Tom Cruise, man. I'm Ethan Hawke, Hunt, whatever. Not the actor. Yeah. Um, And then, okay, so Jay fucking wins. Asaf's out of here, and Jay gets a red skull, which means the biggest twist in challenge. Not the biggest, is it? I don't know. I don't know, but this is a pretty huge one. Now, only fucking people who win an elimination can qualify for the final, which is cool. I mean, it's totally like I get behind that idea. That's awesome. As long as there's no goddamn redemption, that's fucking fantastic, right? But the only thing that came on into my mind immediately was like, hold on though, because the people that won the missions are safe from elimination. Why would you want to be safe in this scenario anymore? You know, you would want to go in. So what you could do is fucking, are we going to see a lot of missions being thrown? You know, what if, you know, like, what if CT's like, all right, fucking, who is this? Josh, I'm going to let you fucking win, but you got to throw me into a nomination. You know what I mean? So it's going to be potentially a lot of that shit. So right away, I like the idea, but I think it should have been, if you win a mission, you can also nominate yourself. And I think that's better overall. Um, okay, well, that was the end of the episode. It's a crazy times, man. We're all fucking indoors and shit. Um, but I like what I saw. I'm into this, especially with the fucking West Bananas thing. Like that was the biggest hook of the episode for me. I was like, holy shit, that's great. Or is it? I mean, who knows? Like, what's the shelf life of this fucking unholy alliance? So, like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.